you so much for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Lui Damiani. I'm the Executive Director of the Victim Service Center of Central Florida, where I have been in that role now for just over a decade.
Can you tell us about when it first founded?
Yeah, so the Victim Service Center, actually, I've been involved in the organization much longer than the 10 years that I've been its Executive Director. I was there from the very beginning when I was a former assistant to a county commissioner, just like you. And she had this idea. Her name was Mary Johnson. She's now deceased. But at the time, she came in my office and she said, you know, we really should have a program to help victims in our community. So we did a needs assessment and we involved the University of Central Florida and all of our community partners and talked about if we had a program, what would that program look like? And at the end of the day, we ended up recommending to the Board of County Commissioners to jumpstart a program. So in 1999, the Board of County Commissioners put up $250,000 in funding that was matched by the state of Florida. And that jump-started the Victim Service Center of Orange County at the time. It was just to serve Orange County, with the caveat that within 2 years, we would become a nonprofit organization. So I helped kind of get that ball rolling. Organization opened our doors in 1999. And then almost 2 years to the day later, it became a 501c3 not-for-profit, and it has enjoyed that status ever since and has subsequently grown into both Osceola and Seminole County as well. So we really service the whole Tri-County area.
What was the first form of that? Was it a division of the county?
It was.
Okay.
It was under, I want to say maybe the Health Services Division for the first couple of years. We opened a little office right over off of Church Street. And with about 5 employees. And I think the first year we helped like 300 people and everybody thought that was great and we were saving the world. Well, fast forward now, 24 years later, this past year, we helped over 7,000 people across the Tri-County area. So it's really mind-boggling to me how much it's grown.
Yeah, now you're saving the universe.
Well, I mean, we feel
From the
like,
world to the universe.
we feel like we do. We're tiny, but we're still mighty. I think we have about 22 full-time, and then we have equally as many folks on contract as well. So I think the whole operation, about 40 people now.
That's so great. It really is.
Thank you.
The work that you do. It's so needed. And well, tell us a little bit about the people you do serve and under what circumstances do they come and find you?
Well, it's a great question. So the threshold for our mission is any victim of violent crime, sexual assault, or any other kind of traumatic event. And what's interesting about that, because often people will ask me, oh, what's a traumatic event? Well, what's a trauma to you may not be a trauma to me. So our services are super individualized. We assess each individual as they come through. And if there's some way we can help them, we will. We get because sexual violence is in our mission and we have the additional responsibility of being the only rape crisis center across the Tri-County area, about 84% of our clients are rape victims, sexual assault, sexual violence related. The other 16 are anything from drownings to family members that have been impacted by homicide, harassment, human trafficking. What I tell people is imagine your worst nightmare. Those are the people that our team helps all day, every day.
So it's not only the ones that are the victims, but it's also the family of victims.
That's exactly right.
Or loved ones of victims.
That's exactly, or friends, or really loved ones. I think that's the nail on the head. So when there's a victimization, imagine there's this ripple effect. So certainly the person that's impacted, has been victimized are eligible for our services. But anybody else that's sort of caught up in that wake, a lot of times family members will have someone in the family that's been victim. Imagine the spouse. Imagine someone that's been a victim of sexual violence, which, by the way, 1 in 5 women is going to be the victim of some sort of sexual violence, sexual assault at some point in their life. So literally everybody has someone in their universe, whether it's a wife, a daughter, a mother, a best friend, that is going to feel this impact and that all could benefit from our services. But these people, this collateral damage, they will also need help understanding how to now interact with the victim and maybe their own emotional trauma that they take away from it. And our folks, our services extend to that entire network. And really, so we can do group counseling, we can do family, couples counseling, just really anybody, like I said, that was caught up in that ripple or in that wake of the victimization.
Yeah, and I remember when we first met and you were telling me about the organization, what I've never forgotten was that you said there were services for the criminal, but at that time there were no services for the actual victims.
It was a sad state of affairs. Now it's been a long time. It's been about 6 years. So kudos to you for remembering. But yeah, that was really the ironic and the sad part was there were these perpetrators that, hopefully they're incarcerated, that were, trying to get rehabilitated and being provided with a lot. And yet the folks that were left in the aftermath were just out there to figure it out on their own. So really the safety net was a great thing. And what's neat about that story, by the way, was that when the county decided to fund it, it's not like there were untold dollars available. There used to be payphones in the jail, and the money generated by inmates in the jail on the payphones was what was used as the seed money to start the Victim Service Center. So it really made great sense for the county to make that move, shift those resources over, and provide these services, from the get-go. So Orange County really, without Orange County's leadership, it wouldn't have never started. And now it's irreversible and it can't be stopped. So we have a great team that I wish would quit growing, but that continues to grow. As our community grows, the need is always going to be there.
Yeah. And you don't want it to grow because you don't want more people to be victimized.
I want to be out of business, honestly, but the reality of that happening, even if crime rate goes down, as the population increases, we're still going to see more people that need help and need our services, as we do every day. But, the great news is, what I always tell folks is, it stinks that we have to exist, but what an amazing resource that we do exist.
Yeah. And what are those services exactly that you provide? What are the different ones that you do? And can you tell us also, so at what phase do you have different services?
Yeah, this is a great question. And again, they're individualized, so all different people react differently and need to access services at different times. We run a 24/7 helpline that's manned by master's level counselors that is always going to be picked up by the third ring. So we are there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year if somebody should need us. And by the way, that telephone number is 500 HEAL. If somebody is a victim of sexual violence, we're by Florida statute, we're the first people that get called out. So we dispatch one of our crisis counselors, whenever that is, in the middle of the night, which, by the way, I'm proud to tell you is going to be on average about 36 minutes from the time the call comes in until the time our people are on site. And then at the same time, we have a team of forensic nurses. And sometimes you'll hear about what's called the rape kit. Well, our people are the ones that administer that and collect the DNA evidence. We have our own private collection facilities, so victims don't have to go into a crowded ER and be around other people. We get them to our private sanctuary. We have two of them, one not far from Advent Health here, the main campus in Orlando, and we have one down in Osceola County as well, near downtown Kissimmee. Those crisis intervention services are one element of what we do. So the other services and the other people that come through our door, about 2,000 of the people we help, those are folks that call into our helpline. They just need a listening ear. They might be suicidal. I mean, there's any number of things that they're calling. They might be a secondary, somebody that has had a family member impacted. They don't even know how to talk to that person, and they're just looking for some pointers on how to talk to them. Some people just need a listening ear, as I mentioned. So that's about 2,000. And the other 4,000, on average, it's about 9 years after their victimization, whatever it is. We go back, we look at our data every couple of years, but it's been fairly consistent. About 9 years later, they'll come forward and look for help. And those people are really looking for our intensive therapeutic services. So we also do a therapy. We have multiple therapy groups. Last year, we did over 3,000 counseling sessions. And I would point out at this point that all of our services, no matter what, are always free of charge. We never ask anybody for any insurance. We never ask them for, really, we don't ask them for anything. You know, we do an intake. We try to assess them to figure out where they are and how we best can and help them. And, you know, for some people, it's going to be that crisis intervention. And for other people, it's going to be this more long-term therapy. The key really to the therapeutic is not to wait 9 years. And people, they think they're going to deal with it on their own, or maybe they've turned to drugs, or they've just never told anybody because of shame or guilt or fear of the perpetrator or any number of reasons. And then there will be a triggering event in the future, and they'll be like, oh my God, I got to go get some help. And then they'll find us. So that's sort of like the distinction between the services, but I'll also point out on the right in that aftermath of the initial crisis intervention, there's a term we use called advocacy. So we have a team that will just work with victims and help them in the short term with whatever they might need. It's like case management. So imagine somebody who was victimized. We can help them with injunctions. We can help them get out of their lease. Take a scenario where somebody's been assaulted in their own home. Oftentimes, they never will go back to that home. Well, our people will assist in helping them find an alternative place to live. We actually, because of the work that we do we have the ability to secure some resources from the state of Florida. It's called victim compensation. And so our folks can facilitate putting in an application, receiving funds, and then helping that person financially have the resources that they need to be able to, to move on.
Do you have any educational resources for the community on prevention?
We do. It's one of the things that I'm super proud of. We have about 9 core curricula that are sexual harassment prevention. That we have a sexual violence 101. We have healthy behaviors for young people. So we get invited out all the time, literally every day. On average, we're out at least once a day doing some kind of training in the community. We have 4 of our courses now are CEU eligible. So we end up doing a lot of trainings for professionals that are in need of CEU credits, so they can contact us and we'll set up a CEU training for them. One of the trainings that I'm really proud of, we got this federal grant and we built this curriculum it's called Be the Hero. And it targets the high school senior, college freshman population. And the idea is, the term is called bystander intervention. So what we try to do is teach them how, as a bystander, when they see something that doesn't quite look right, that they can take steps without putting anybody in harm that could potentially stave off a victimization of a friend, of themselves, of somebody within their universe. It's kind of like that idea of the frat party gone wrong, and then you hear about a young woman being victimized. And then we just built a new curriculum, and it's very similar, where we're going to be teaching bartenders in the community about how they can identify perpetrators within the bar environment. And bartenders, that's their livelihood. They want their clients to be safe. So hopefully that will be equally as successful. And the thing that I'm really excited about is that we're in the process of taking all of our individualized trainings, and videotaping them and turning them into online trainings, so people will be able to access it and get it whenever they want it, as opposed to just calling us out and doing trainings. We will still do in-person trainings. Call on us, and we would love to come out and give one of our trainings. We can tailor them so they can be as short as 20 minutes, And typically they're about 45 minutes to an hour on the individual training. And we have all age appropriate training. So we go out in the summer camps during the summer. Leading up to summer camps, we train all the summer camp counselors. It's another way for us to get in front of literally tens of ththousands of people a year.
And how can the community support your efforts?
There's a lot of ways. We are very fortunate because we enjoy a lot of community support. We enjoy a lot of support from the county, from all of our government partners. We operate under about 15 different grants, but we also need financial resources. So of course, one thing is for people to be able to donate to us in some way. In some cases, people they want to jump in and they want to become a monthly donor for $20 a month. And that's great. We need those resources. Oftentimes, folks, though, want to give something tangible. And so they'll call and be like, can I donate something? Well, the answer is yes, through our website, which is victimservicecenter.org. And then, of course, through volunteerism. We have a pretty robust volunteer program. It's all over the place as to what people's skills are. So if someone that's listening might be interested, once again, you can go to our website. It's pretty easy to find our volunteer portal. You just fill out an application, and then our volunteer folks will reach back out. We take you through a training, and we use volunteers we do tons of community outreach, like tabling events, all the back to school events. So we use lots of volunteers to supplement our paid staff and go out and represent us in the community. Once we get them trained up, the cool thing about our volunteers is you would not differentiate a victim service center volunteer from one of our paid staff. They walk like a staff, talk like a staff, dress like a staff, and interact with the community as if they are one of our own. Now, we train them a lot, and we background screen, and we treat our volunteers like our staff members. The only thing is I don't have to pay them. So it's pretty great. And a lot of people want to donate of themselves, of their skill set to us.
So you mentioned your website. How about you repeat that for us and the phone number?
Sure. It's Victim Service Center, all one word, .org, O-R-G. And we also own the domain healhere.org. They're all connected. So you can type heal here and you're going to get to us, or type victimservicecenter.org. You'll get to us. And then our telephone number for our helpline 24 hours a day is 407-500-4325 or 500-HEAL.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
And I appreciate you inviting me and giving me the platform to talk about, this work that I love so much.
If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe to our channel and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts.